Hi there, and welcome to my Stellaris Let's Play Advanced Strategy, Tips and Tricks. This is episode 21. In this episode, I'm going to look at synthetic ascension, spinal mount weapons, finishing your tech tree, securing your borders, and Federation succession laws. I hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome back to the League of Isavera. The year is 2285. We now have a large political union, a federation in fact, which covers about half of the galaxy. We are the most powerful member of the Galactic Council, actually to the point where if all the other members joined together, they wouldn't quite have enough votes to fail anything we want. So now we can start pushing through some good regimes. We're about to get the council size change 2 on the floor. We're just finishing off Enable Council Veto. Our federation is very new. We haven't got any levels yet, but we have envoys in there and we're trying to increase the cohesion. And also, again, no laws, which means we have no increased centralization and therefore no fleet contribution yet. Across our worlds, we have quite a few of them. They're doing all right. And our economy overall is doing fine. We're slightly behind on our Empire support at the moment, giving us a 20% technology cost, but I'm going to offset that with some new buildings. We are a slight deficit on consumer goods. We are actually selling some though, that's why we've got that deficit. But that's also the issue here, is that we have a slight deficit on energy. Again, we've got plenty of resources though. We're kind of flush with resources and we're producing a reasonable number of alloys. 189 is not a lot. It's not amazing, but it's a good healthy number that we can attempt to start trying to increase quite soon. So let's get going. And now I've just taken open markets as my second tradition in the diplomacy tree. That should balance out our energy problems in just a moment, or at least a little bit. The 10% was slightly helpful. I am also going to build a second battleship design as well. I'm just going to build a heavy carrier design. And this is going to be essentially identical to the previous one, except we're going to have carrier core, artillery bow, and artillery stern. And now I've completed my standardized battleship patterns. That's going to give me a good bonus to the speed at which I can build those battleships. Next time, really, I kind of want to take this increased metallurgist output, but I think I'm going to have to take the Citadel so that I can start getting some of the upgrades I'll need to be able to put a Colossus out, because that's something I'll want to think about doing in the near future. And now I've found the relic for the Zeroni, so I'm going to take that and I'll just take a look at my relic screen to have a look at it. So the Zeroni one it's not fantastic unless you go with a psionic ascension, so we haven't done that and we're not going to. I could also complete the secrets of the Zeroni. I'm not going to. It's, in my opinion, a waste of artifacts for this particular type. The Cybrex one can be definitely quite good. That's something to look at. But yeah, the Zeroni is not one that I want to be completing. And then here I'm going to take the fleet command plus 20 because I want to have some large fleets. And I'm starting to get a good amount of alloys saved up. Now I've taken the fleet command limit. I'm actually just going to take it again. I'm going to repeat that one. Because at the moment I'm only on 110 fleet command. I really want to be up at the 200 region. That way, later on I can get some quite big fleets. And then here in the physics, I'm going to be taking the particle lance because I really want to put that one onto my ships. There are some other reasonable options. The shield capacitor, better sensors are good because they're going to increase your tracking and also increase your sensor range. The final level of plasma accelerator, I like that technology, but this particle lance on the spinal mount, I'm going to need to put that on pretty much all of my battleships. I might swap that out depending on what the endgame crisis is, but that's, in my opinion, the best of the three, most of the time anyway. And the 001 exterminators have attempted to insult us. They will rue the day they tried such a thing. The Horizon signal as well. Now, I'm not going to complete that in this playthrough. It's not something I'm going to go down. It's a fantastic event chain to go through though. I recommend you go through it and you enjoy it yourself. It's quite a long one. it was quite good when they added this in the DLC. So I'm not going to spoil anything there. I'm sure you probably played it already. If you haven't, though, as I said, I don't want to spoil anything. So good luck and enjoy. And then next I've gone with the insider trading. I want to get that nice juicy market fee reduction because I am really using the market quite a bit. Fantastic. And I finally had synthetics turn up. I'm going to take that one immediately over anything else in there. The other options, some of them are alright. The advanced railgun is going to let me go down some of the final end game options like the kinetic battery, and I believe that the mega cannons with the Spinal mount kinetic weapon. But at the moment I need synthetics. That's what I need to ascend, which will be quite important to my species. And now we're starting to assemble some reasonable fleets. We've got a 20k battleship fleet here with 10 battleships. It just looks like a giant blob, and 2 corvettes. Now, as I said before, the corvettes are there just to increase the speed of this fleet. And now I'm starting to get repeatable technologies appearing, which means I'm very near the end of the tree. So when you start seeing these, I would always recommend to wait on getting these repeatables until you've actually cleared out all of these rubbish technologies that you haven't picked up throughout the rest of the game. I'm going to start with the cheapest. And so the reason to do that is that each of these technologies is going to increase your technology weight, both diplomatic and score. So it's actually quite important to finish off the technology because you're going to get them much easier and much quicker than you will the repeatables, because they take a large period of time to complete. Now, just to try and balance out my energy income, I'm actually going to go through some of the planets which have quite a few districts with generators. I'm going to throw in the energy grid just to get a little bonus on my energy production there. Now, I want to roll the synthetic personality matrix. So to do that, I'm going to be choosing the cheapest technologies in engineering, and I want to do that so that I can get the synthetic ascension perk. I'll also be taking the Sapient Combat AI. Now, something to note here is both the Sapient Combat AI, which is listed, as you can see, as a dangerous technology, as well as synthetics that I took earlier. I wouldn't be taking those technologies if I hadn't gone down the robotic ascension path. I would have stayed at droids, and that way I would have completely prevented any chance or whisper of an AI rebellion, which is definitely something you don't want to have happen. Not because it's you'll lose, but because it ruins everything. It's very annoying and very difficult. Luckily, our Federation members, the Glesbig Foundation, have come in and they are taking out the crystals for us, which is very polite of them, very kind. So we have had another war declaration. 001 extirpated or declared one of the United Fex Clanger regime. Actually, I think we're going to let them duke it out. We have the fleet power now to defend ourselves from these people because we built that big battleship fleet up. They have a fleet power of 955 and we are on 1166. So we're 200 fleet power ahead of them, and we've got 14,000 alloys saved up. So really in this galaxy we are the preeminent force. We are secure and safe. And I'm just going to make sure that these stations, which I've already set them to be fortress stations, partly so that I remember, and I'm going to build my stronghold on here. This is going to not only take care of the unemployment, but it'll also boost my housing capacity. And housing on habitats is something that can be quite hard to come by, because you really don't want to build one of these habitation districts at +8 housing. They're not fantastic. You're not getting any jobs out of them. And now I'm also building a stronghold here on Ruinous Core. Ruinous Core is in the system just adjacent to this wormhole, because this wormhole, Grekil, leads slap bang to Rovgedi. And then we've got another wormhole here, Ciabolia. That one leads into the Corsair space. That's fine. And then another wormhole in Naos. That one leads to Opraluk, which is in the 001 space. So we are bordering the 001 now. But Opraluk, as long as we have... so we should really take Obnol, put some fortresses on it. We are blocking off this system here. And actually, as we get, some of these worlds can be made into fortress worlds, so that at the Naos wormhole, if they enter this system, they can't leave except via the wormhole to go back to where they came from. And now I can take the synthetic ascension, which I'm going to do immediately, or synthetic evolution. It's going to give me some great bonuses. And I should look at my situation log now, because in my situation log I have the synthetic evolution available. 78 months. Okay, so there's something that is really important I do before I get to that point, before I actually do finally synthetically ascend. And that is to make sure that there are biological pops in my empire. And I don't want just any old biological pops. I really want to have the biological pops of my core species. So I go to my species rights. I've got lots of different species here in the Empire. So what I'm going to do is, on my home world, I'm going to make some of my species return to this original state, the Provagluvar. So I'm going to apply this template to Proval. I'm going to apply it to lots of them, all of them. Here we are. So that's 51 pops, 2,000 research. Okay. So I'll apply that template. Now that's going to take me 2 months. What that's going to do is it's going to remove the cybernetic trait, because anyone with cybernetic is going to get upgraded into a robot. And I want to have some biological pops in my empire for sure. And the best species to do is your home species. I mean, your primary species. Now this species here aren't necessarily the best, but I'm going to assume that this primary species you've made is the one you want to keep, because that's usually the case. This is just a random species that I got, so that's why it's like that. Something else I'm also going to do is I'm going to set the rights to assimilation of all of the other non-cybernetic species, so that they will all get upgraded as soon as we get over to the well, as soon as it is completed the ascension. This is going to dent our economy quite heavily for a bit, because I mean, these 76 pops, they're going to stop working and they're only going to produce science income. You'll see now, boom, big knock to our money, but that's necessary, because we want to get rid of as many of the of those bad people as we can, basically. So as you can see here, simulating 13, that's going to finish off some number of them per year. I can't remember exactly which. What I want to do is I want to get some rocket pop leaders, if I can. Anyway, is there any? No, there's not. Well, something that's quite important to note is that if you take somebody with the psionic and cybernetic and you make them a leader, when you synthetically ascend, they will get upgraded. And they will both have the synthetic trait and the psionic trait as or the psychic trait even, as a leader, which is basically how you can get, at the moment, the best leaders in the game. But I couldn't find any in my leader pool. I'll take some more looks as the game goes on. So actually, now, importantly, we are going to be making a brain slug host the leader of our civilization, because that's going to give us good bonuses to all our research, increased weapons damage, as well as some unity. So this and also reduced market fee and trade value. That is the best member we can get. It's gonna be really good. Now, as you can see, I'm now operating on a market fee of 5%, which is the complete minimum you can get in the game. That's because I've got the market nexus. I've also taken the insider trading perk, tradition even, not perk, and I have the import-export agenda. And that has really balanced the economy that I had with the minor issues. I mean, at the moment, I've got a few hundred pops not working because they're being assimilated. So it's going really well. So mega engineering has come up. This is a really important tech to get. It's going to allow you to build, well, not just to build, but also to upgrade any existing ruined megastructures you have in your space. Or also move on from this to then unlock technologies to build other megastructures. So I need to get that one first before I can build any of the other megastructures in my space. Now, the important megastructures to build are going to be the science nexus. That's a really important one. The mega shipyard is really important, and the strategic coordination center. Those three kind of form the core of the important 3 that you'll need. The mega shipyard's really quite important when you get to the crisis, so that you've got a really fast way of returning ships. On top of that, I'm going to now choose my kind of final third to last tradition. I'm going to go with prosperity here. I want the mining station output. I want the extra 5% specialist resource output. And the additional housing, I suppose, would be kind of nice, and the upkeep benefits, because I've got such a big empire. It's going to be quite a lot of benefit I get from them. The other two, whilst okay, are just not quite as good at as prosperity at the moment. So I'm definitely going to take that one. So there's a psychic leader I can take here, Eric, son of Brock. So I'm just going to buy him because when he synthetically ascends, I'm going to get a really good leader out of that. Now, just checking the others, I'm looking for brain slugs or the psychic trait, and I don't have anything, just that one that I got there. But that's okay, I'll keep looking. I haven't started my Ascension yet, and at the moment it's 115 months it would take, which I'll knock down by reducing my Empire Sprawl as well. Part of the reason it's gone up so much is that I've assimilated all of these species. I'm starting to assimilate all of them into being cybernetic in my empire. So I've got quite a high number of pops, as you can see. So now I've put on the floor the change council size 2. I support it, my vassal supports it. Surprisingly, the people who are not on the council don't support it, and we'll see what the other two do. I'm pretty sure that Molonok are going to support it, and then United Fex Clanger are going to not want to do it. And the 001 extirpators are really carving a big swathe into the Fex Clanger regime here. And the Panuri partnership may not have much longer to survive. They've only got 67 fleet weight. Yeah, they're really not doing very well at all. Okay, so now I've unlocked the level 2 in my federation. Let's go and have a look at that. So we've got a number of laws we can pass. First off, we're going to push up straight into the centralization. We want to have that one up. Yep, fantastic. Next, I'm going to change the fleet contribution to low. So in order to do that, I'm going to need to get some favors from the other members of my federation, which won't be an issue because all I need to do is give them rubbish I don't need. So let's grab as many favors as we can from these guys, and let's see, what resource do we have? We have 360 Zero, or maybe we can give them some Zero. Oh, they're disloyal. Ah, okay, well actually we'll have to improve relations with them then. Yes, we will have to improve relations with our vassal in order to get that, but we only need to have a majority to pass these laws. So if we get the favors from these guys, it will be just as good. No, they really don't like Zero very much. What about food? Do they go mental for food? Well, not mental, but they do quite like it. Right, so let's grab as many favors as we can from our friend and ally. Now we have the favors, we're going to go back and we're going to start changing up the laws. So we're going to change this to a majority vote. Everyone agrees, that's a good idea, fantastic. We're going to change invite members to a majority vote. We are going to increase the term length to 40 years. That will keep us in power for as long as we can. And on top of that, we're going to change the type of federation succession to challenge. We need to make sure we just get 2 votes. So here we go. That should do it. Yep, so now we've changed the succession law type to challenge. We're going to change it to, in my opinion, the best when you're playing with the computer, which is Golden Rule. You should be able to have, or you should have lots of resources saved up. You should either have special resources, which we've got 1,000 of in various forms, or you should have things you can convert into energy so that you can take this here Golden Rule. And now what this is going to do, we'll just say yes. What this is going to do is it means when the succession comes, there will be a bidding war, and you'll be bidding in multiples of 2,500 energy. The AI will usually tend to give up around the 5 to 7,500 mark, pretty much guaranteeing that you will be returned as the president. Now, if you're playing against other players, it can be good to go with this as well if you think you can outspend them. Just note that at higher levels of energy spent, the return you get after this golden rule fires, because you can choose to invest it in the Federation, you can choose to distribute it amongst the members, or you can choose to pilfer it for yourself. And if you spent lots and lots of energy at the high end, let's say 50,000, by lots of bidding going on, I think in one game it got up to 75,000 or 67,000, something like that recently. But if you spend lots of that energy, you don't get all of it back. So if you choose to pilfer it, you'll only get, say, 6,000. Or if you choose to share it around, everyone will only get 3,000. Rather than the big 50 or 60,000 that got dropped. So just watch out for that. It is kind of throwing money down the drain. And then the final thing we're going to do is change fleet contribution to low, I suppose. Fantastic. Now we have Federation fleet. Some of our fleet cap is going into the Federation fleet. We've already designed the ships ourselves. We'll actually just change the battleship over. Yep, that looks pretty good to me. And then there's one little thing else that we need to do, and that is make sure that everyone can construct the ships for us. Now that we're happy with the ships we've got, we're just going to make sure that everyone can construct them. Great, so now the other members of our Federation, the AI, should start building some of the ships that we've designed for us, which is going to be really good. Something that is definitely a positive. Fantastic. So now what we've managed to do is we opened up this here, Relic World. And we are going to start looking at that straight away. And we're also going to colonize it. We are going to colonize it with some of our favorite pops. Yep, you know which ones I'm talking about. The Rochoids. Now I've taken anti-gravity engineering here. That's crucial because in order to build the type of Ecumenopolis that I want, you need this anti-gravity engineering. And we'll be restoring the Relic World we just got over here, but we might also be changing some world into an Ecumenopolis a bit later on. So also something that I'm going to do at this point in the game is I'm going to go around my planets and I'm going to start putting in galactic stock exchanges. That's going to dramatically increase my trade value, and that trade value is going to prop up my economy at this point. As you can see, I am getting at the moment 148 from trade. So my positive energy credit balance is basically all down to the trade value I have. Great, so now I can take the science nexus, which I will be researching for my physics research, and I'll be building that, and that will kind of shoot my science right up into the stratosphere. And that's where I'm going to leave this episode. As ever, if you've enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you've got any feedback, please leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.